Athens in the 4th century BC was a cauldron of ideas. From the bustling marketplace to the shaded groves, citizens engaged in passionate debate. This was the intellectual climate that nurtured Plato, a philosopher who would shape Western thought for millennia. Born into an influential family, Plato could have easily pursued a life of politics. Instead, he chose philosophy, captivated by the pursuit of truth and knowledge. His life and work became intertwined with the teachings of his mentor, Socrates. Socrates, condemned to death for his unflinching questioning of Athenian values, left an indelible mark on Plato. The execution of his teacher fueled Plato's belief in the power and danger of ideas. It also ignited a lifelong quest to understand justice, morality, and the ideal state. It was a quest that would lead him to establish the Academy, a school that would become a beacon of learning in the ancient world. Plato's Athens was a world on the cusp of change. The Peloponnesian War had shattered the old certainties, leaving a void that philosophers and politicians alike sought to fill. Into this turbulent arena Plato stepped, armed with his sharp intellect and a profound belief in the power of reason. He believed that beneath the chaos of the everyday world lay timeless truths, waiting to be discovered. His philosophy, a blend of logic, metaphysics, and political theory, offered a path to these truths, a path that began at the Academy.
On the outskirts of Athens, shaded by olive groves, stood the Academy. Founded by Plato around 387 BC, it was more than just a school. It was a community of scholars, a think tank, a laboratory of ideas. Here, under Plato's guidance, students gathered to explore reality, justice, beauty, and the good life. Imagine walking through its gardens, overhearing debates on geometry, astronomy, and the soul. The Academy was a testament to Plato's belief that knowledge was a shared pursuit. Within its walls, intellectual inquiry flowed freely. Discussions were lively, challenges welcomed, and ideas rigorously tested. It was a space where knowledge boundaries were pushed and students questioned everything. The curriculum was diverse, including mathematics, astronomy, rhetoric, and political science. Plato believed true knowledge was inseparable from virtue. He envisioned the Academy as a training ground for future leaders. The Academy was a revolutionary institution, the first of its kind in the Western world. It established a model for higher education that influenced centuries of scholarship. For over 900 years, it served as a center of learning, attracting some of the greatest minds of antiquity. Though eventually closed by the Byzantine Emperor Justinian I in 529 AD, its legacy lives on in every university and research institution that champions the pursuit of knowledge and the free exchange of ideas.
Central to Plato's philosophy is the theory of forms, a concept as profound as it is challenging. Imagine a world beyond our senses, a realm of perfect, unchanging archetypes. This, according to Plato, is the realm of forms. These forms, such as justice, beauty, and equality, are not mere concepts but eternal, immutable entities that serve as blueprints for the imperfect world we perceive. Consider a beautiful painting. Its beauty is fleeting, subject to the ravages of time and the viewer's subjective interpretation. But the form of beauty itself, according to Plato, is eternal and absolute, existing independently of any physical manifestation. The painting merely participates in this form, reflecting a pale shadow of its perfect essence. To grasp this concept, Plato used the analogy of a divided line. The visible world, with its changing appearances, occupies the lower portion of the line. Above it lies the intelligible realm where the forms reside. Just as the sun illuminates the physical world, allowing us to see, Plato believed that reason illuminates the intelligible realm, allowing us to grasp the forms. The theory of forms is more than just an abstract philosophical concept. It has profound implications for how we understand reality, knowledge, and the human condition. It suggests that there is more to the world than meets the eye. That beneath the surface of appearances lies a deeper, more fundamental reality. It is this deeper reality that Plato dedicated his life to exploring, and he believed that by grasping the forms, we could live more just, beautiful, and meaningful lives.
Section 4, Shadows and Light, deciphering the allegory of the cave. Perhaps the most famous illustration of Plato's theory of forms is the allegory of the cave, a vivid narrative from his work, The Republic. Imagine prisoners chained inside a cave, their backs to the entrance. Their only reality is the shadows cast on the wall by objects passing before a fire. These shadows, Plato argues, represent the limited perceptions of those who mistake the physical world for the entirety of reality. One prisoner escapes the cave and emerges into the blinding sunlight. At first, he is overwhelmed by the brilliance of the outside world, but gradually, his eyes adjust and he begins to perceive the world in all its richness and complexity. He sees the sun, which he recognizes as the true source of light and knowledge. He has grasped the forms. The escaped prisoner represents the philosopher, who through reason and inquiry breaks free from the shackles of ignorance. His return to the cave to enlighten his fellow prisoners symbolizes the philosopher's duty to share his knowledge, even if it is met with resistance or disbelief. The cave itself represents the limitations of our senses and the importance of seeking knowledge beyond appearances. The allegory of the cave is a powerful metaphor for the human condition. It reminds us that our perceptions can be limited and that true knowledge requires us to question our assumptions and look beyond the surface of things. It is a call to embrace reason, to seek enlightenment, and to share our understanding with others. The journey out of the cave is the journey of philosophy itself, a journey that leads us from darkness to light, from ignorance to knowledge.
Section 5. Reason's Ascent. Scaling the Heights of Knowledge. For Plato, reason was the defining characteristic of being human. He believed reason unlocked the secrets of the universe and led to a virtuous life. In his dialogues, Plato lays out the path of philosophical inquiry leading to true knowledge. Imagine reason as a ladder, each rung a higher level of understanding. The lowest rungs are our senses, providing raw data. Above these are beliefs and opinions, shaped by upbringing and experiences. To truly know, we must use reason to examine and discard beliefs that can't withstand scrutiny. This ascent is not easy. It requires discipline, courage, and questioning our cherished beliefs. But the rewards, according to Plato, are immeasurable. As we climb higher, we move closer to the forms, eternal truths governing the universe. We see the world with greater clarity and understanding, better equipped to live just and fulfilling lives. Plato's emphasis on reason was not a rejection of emotion or intuition. He saw reason as the faculty guiding our emotions and intuitions, preventing them from leading us astray. A life lived according to reason is one of true happiness and fulfillment. In knowing what is true and good, we align our lives with the highest principles, discovering deeper meaning and purpose.
Section 6. Intuition's Whisper, a guiding voice in the dark. While reason stood as the cornerstone of Plato's philosophy, he also recognized the vital role of intuition. He understood that reason, while powerful, could sometimes be a blunt instrument, unable to grasp the nuances of human experience or the mysteries of the cosmos. Intuition, he believed, offered a different kind of knowing, a way of accessing truths that lay beyond the reach of logic. Imagine intuition as a whisper in the stillness, a sudden flash of insight that illuminates a problem long pondered. It is the feeling of knowing something without being able to articulate why, the sense that there is more to a situation than meets the eye. Plato, in his dialogues, often portrays Socrates relying on intuition, particularly in moments of ethical dilemma or when grappling with profound philosophical questions. Intuition, for Plato, was not simply a matter of gut feeling or blind faith. He believed that it was a faculty that could be cultivated through philosophical practice, through a life lived in pursuit of truth and virtue. Just as a musician trains their ear to hear subtle harmonies, so too could a philosopher train their intuition to perceive deeper truths. This intuitive faculty, he argued, was intimately connected to the soul's connection to the realm of forms. Just as our senses can perceive shadows of the forms in the physical world, so too could our intuition provide glimpses into this higher realm, offering guidance and inspiration. Intuition for Plato was a bridge between the rational and the transcendent, a way of accessing a deeper level of understanding.
Section 7. Harmony of Thought, Balancing Reason and Intuition. Plato, in his philosophical explorations, sought not to pit reason and intuition against each other, but to create a harmonious balance between the two. He envisioned a mind where reason, with its clarity and precision, worked in concert with intuition, with its flashes of insight and creative leaps. This harmonious interplay, he believed, was essential for both philosophical inquiry and for living a virtuous life. Imagine a charioteer struggling to control two powerful steeds, one representing reason and the other intuition. If either horse gains dominance, the chariot will veer off course. But when the charioteer, representing the will, maintains a firm hand, guiding both steeds in unison, the chariot moves swiftly and surely towards its destination. For Plato, reason provided the framework, the structure for understanding the world. It allowed us to analyze, categorize, and make sense of our experiences. Intuition, on the other hand, provided the spark, the creative impulse that pushed us beyond the limits of logic and opened us up to new possibilities. It allowed us to make connections that reason alone might miss, to see patterns in the chaos, and to generate innovative solutions to complex problems. This balance between reason and intuition was not a static state, but an ongoing process, a delicate dance that required constant vigilance and adjustment. Plato believed that by cultivating both faculties, we could achieve a more complete and nuanced understanding of ourselves and the world around us. We could live lives that were both rationally sound and deeply meaningful, guided by both the head and the heart.